Assalamualaikum and salam sejahtera. My name is Ahmad Nizamuddin bin Yahya, currently a first year student in Master of Architecture in Infrastructure University of Kuala Lumpur, IUKL. We've been given a task to fulfill a course of professional practice requirement to conduct an interview session. Today, we will have an interview session with one of professional practicing architect, which is Zuliana Alizan. Okay, first question. Can you tell us a short brief story about yourself, a little bit about yourself, education background and working experience?
Assalamualaikum, I'm architect Zuliana Alizan. I graduated Bachelor Science in Architecture in 2007 from UiTM Shah Alam. And then I went to work in Garis Architects for a year. And then I went to further study at Glasgow School of Art for 2 years and a half and graduated Masters from there. Came back in 2011 and went back again to Garis, and I've been there since then until now. I have 10 years working experience from all stages. I'm not only working on architecture as in the buildings only, but also master planning, urban design, and also planning works like prepare local plans.
Question 2. Since when did you get the title of professional architect? Can you tell us a short story behind it? When did you take the test of LAM Part 3?
I got my AR in 2016. I didn't really plan to sit for the exam until 2015 when I felt like studying something. For some reason, I chose Part 3 and then registered for the exam. I passed the oral exam that year. Took the paper twice because the first time I wasn't quite ready since I just started studying middle of that year. Reset the March paper and passed both. So basically it was a short journey in sitting for the exam, but I had a long journey beforehand.
Okay, question 3. What is your current position as an architect? Did you have your own architecture firm? Or are you working under a company as a salary architect? What is the name of the company and the type of company, whether it is a sole proprietor, partnership, body corporate or multidisciplinary?
My current position in the office, I'm the associate architect, basically involved in both design and project works. Yes, I'm a salaried architect in Garis. Garis is a body corporate ACP, and then we have 4 directors.
Can you elaborate more about your company? Are you working in? Some history, name, etc. Tell us your scope of work in that company.
Garis has been established for more than 25 years by the founder, architect Mok Chipan. We have a wide range of architectural services from buildings, ID, urban design and master planning. My scope of work in the company, I'm the designer, project architect and also lead auditor for ISO. So basically as a designer, I do proposals, competitions, I have the design team, we brainstorm, do internal presentation and critiques, do presentation materials such as the PowerPoint presentation and reports, work closely with the graphic team in illustrations and animations. As for the project architect, I do drawings, I manage submissions, tender construction to completion, guide younger architects in the ongoing projects. The internal auditor, I am a certified ISO lead auditor, so basically I can do both external and internal audit, but for Garis, I'm the internal auditor.
Question 5. In your opinion, what is the prohibited thing that an architect should not do?
The thing that an architect should not do is to break our code of conduct. Basically not carrying his duties professionally and at the standard, go against the act, go against the rules, like falsely using the title AR, not registering ACP with the board, not conducting responsibilities and roles as an architect, not being faithful in doing his job, like taking on jobs knowing that you don't have the capabilities and not competent to do so, not being impartial in disputes. Basically, feels to be a professional, not respecting other architects, like backtalk them and try to silang projects by giving lower fees and things like that.
Lembaga Arkitek Malaysia, or we also known as LAM, or the Board of Architect Malaysia, is a statutory authority responsible for enforcement of the Architect Act 1967. What is the important role played by this board to professional architect in Malaysia?
The role played by LAM for professional architects to conduct professional exams, to register architects and the ACPs, SOPROC partnership, building corporate, multidisciplinary, and also regulate the rules for architects.
What is the main purpose of certain rule applied to professional architect by Board of Architect? What happened to a professional architect if they broke some rules set up by Board of Architect Malaysia?
The purpose of having rules by LAM is to have prescribed guides and regulations to be observed by the members for the conducts and also actions. So if they happen to break the rules, the consequences would vary from penalty fee, jail sentence, and also license being revoked.
Next question. When we discuss about architect work, we will imagine that it's often related to designing a building only. Are you agree with this statement? If no, what did actually architect do beside designing a building? Are there any other responsibilities to become an architect?
I have to disagree when you say that architects' work is often related to designing buildings only. I think that is an understatement. I do believe that architects, we create life for the people, for the building, for the environment. We design buildings for people to live in, users to use for. We design how a space should be used to be appreciated. We design a lifestyle, whether to suit the people or to let them use as how we intend them to do so. We even design the environment, and that's why you see a lot of architects now, they are doing urban design, master planning projects, placemakings, and that's the creative part of architects' work. The technical part would be things like our involvement in authority submissions, dealing with the authorities, clients and consultants from start to completion, supervising the costs, managing construction works, administering building contracts, be the SO, be the leader of the pack. Basically from the inception to handing over the projects, we are responsible all the way through.
Question 9. Can you share us some of your work? Can you briefly explain this project?
One of my works is the Wharf Hotel and Service Residence in Port Dickson Waterfront. It is 2 blocks of 10-story hotel and apartment on a 5-story podium of facilities and parking floors. The wharf got its name from the word wharf, that is a structure built on the shore for boats to load, unload and lie at rest. So in this context, people are the boats. They come to rest, relax and enjoy being by the beach. The main design strategies were to create vistas toward the sea, and at the same time allowing sea breezes to flow in and through all public spaces. The seafront wing is supported on a 5-story standalone columns, creating a massive 5-story volume at the ground bazaar area. The reason for having the front columns to stand alone was because we wanted to create an unobstructed view of the sea from the pool level. The sighting of the blocks also create a wind tunnel at the pool level, which is very cooling. And then we also have protruding wedding pool and cantilevered deck that break the strict geometry of the podium. So one can stand at the edge of the cantilevered deck to have his Titanic moment while enjoying the view and cool breezes. Public spaces like lobby, cafes, meeting rooms were designed to face the sea, whilst hiding parking podium behind them. Therefore, there's no sight of unappealing structure can be seen from the front. Facade was designed with zigzag coping resembling the waves, which create a nice depth of shadow on the facade. Movable sunscreens also were installed to help reduce direct sunlight and also glare from the sea water, painted in timber color to give a tropical vibe to it. Unit design varies from studio units, dual keys, and also dual key duplexes. Dual key was actually our main selling strategy, one of our main selling strategies for the developer, because buyer can buy one unit for themselves and rent out or lease back to the hotel operator the other half. So it was like an added investment strategy for the buyers.
When starting a project, is there any necessary information that client give to you? If yes, can you briefly tell us about it?
The information that client would give us when starting a project is the location, the project brief, work scope, estimated construction cost. Location, they would tell us where the location of the site is, the area. Some would give us the land use, density and plot ratio information as well. But some would just give us the location and area only, so we have to dig up more information from the local plan ourselves. Project brief, whether they want residential, commercial, mixed use, what are their selling points, and then their vision for the project. They will also let us know the work scope that they require from us, whether it's to design only or until completion, whether it is for study purposes to see the land potentials before buying the land, maybe for just idle competition. They will also give us an estimation of the construction cost, and that would help to guide us and give us a clearer idea of the scale and complexity of the design and project.
During this project, did you engage with other consultants? If yes, can you tell us how did you engage them? Is that consultant was engaged by you or client? Which party coordinates this project?
Yes, I've worked with other consultants. So basically, consultants in a project team comprises of architect, planner, depending on the scale of the project and local authorities' requirements, whether a planner should be on board or not. Civil engineer, structure engineer, mechanical engineer, electrical engineer, landscape architect, QS, land surveyor, building surveyor, and sometimes we have specialists also, like environmental specialist, traffic engineer, GBI specialist, ID, etc. No, we did not engage them, but the clients do. Normally engaged by the client. However, sometimes the client would ask us to recommend a few consultants. Each consultants are responsible for their own scopes, but architect would be the main coordinator for the project.
Is there any variation of order, we also known as VO, occur during this project or any project? If yes, what is the procedure to apply this VO? Is there any instruction should be produced, and from which party this instruction should came from?
VO. Yeah, yes, of course. I've never heard of a project without VO. VO means any changes from the original contract, be it in the specifications or material or scope of work, and it can be either addition or omission or substitute. So the procedure to apply for VO, normally when we see a VO happening, we would firstly discuss it with the respective consultants, if any related, main con, client, and also QS. Architect would issue an I for the changes, or if the main con has already done the work, then the architect would have to issue the AI before final account. The main con would come back with a VO application with details of the changes, rates, and estimated costs. And QS would evaluate the cost and nego if necessary. We would then present it to the client for the agreement. If agreed, the main con shall proceed with works. In some cases, works are done first to avoid delay. Then, if everything is okay, then architect shall certify the VO amount for approval.
As a normal human being, this agreement is a normal thing that can happen. Have you encountered any disagreement with your client or other consultant? If yes, how did you handle it?
Yes, it is normal to have disagreements between each other. Yeah, and yes, I have encountered disagreement in projects. I would highlight the issues and in some cases the consequences. Then I would justify why I disagree and give examples to make it easier for people to understand my stand. If the disagreement involves authority compliance and the client or consultant still wishes to proceed with their actions, then I would issue a letter to clarify and justify the matter and claim that we would not be responsible for the actions because we have already advised otherwise.
What is the procedure to follow if client want to change architect?
The procedure to change architect, the second architect should write to the first architect to inquire if their services have been properly terminated and all outstanding fees are settled. The first architect should reply with the letter of release if all of that are done, and or if there's any outstanding fee, they should inform the second architect to advise the client. The second architect can start their services upon receiving the letter of release, and this letter of release should indicate that their services have been terminated, that they are no longer their PSP if the project is already in submission or construction stage, all the outstanding fees are settled, and any other related issues.
During construction process, did you inspect the contractor work? If yes, is there any procedure to come to construction site for inspection?
Yes, I did inspect contractors' work. Site inspections are done fortnightly on the days that we have our site meetings. Site walk, we do it either before or after the meeting, or if there are any urgent issues, site inspection can be done by informing the main con, and if other consultants or client need to join the urgent inspection, a notice shall be issued to respective people. At site, it is safety first, so make sure that you wear your proper clothes and PPE at all times. Things to take note during the inspection, the progress, safety, cleanliness, manpower, etc.
Once the project was done, what should architect do? What was the procedure to hand a completed project to the client?
When the project is done, well, assuming that we have already obtained our CCC, we would conduct a CPC handover meeting. The Mancon would submit their as-built drawings to us and the client, all warranties to the client, and architect us. We issue the CPC to Mancon, but that is only for completing the building. Completing the project means until the contract ends, which means until the end of the LP period. Then we have to carry a CMGD inspection, Mancon to carry out rectification works if any, and after everything is done, we issue CMGD.
Okay, that was my last question. Thank you for being willing to cooperate with me and willing to spend your time for this interview session.
Okay, thank you Nizam for having me. Good luck with your masters.
Thank you.
Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam. In conclusion, becoming a professional architect are not just about designing a building only. Architect is a person who carry a huge responsibility towards his or her career, not to think about himself and his idea only. Assalamualaikum and thank you for watching.